Hey, today we're going to be reading a new one, Sex is a Funny Word by Cory Silverberg and Fiona Smyth.
Oh, Sunday, I cannot be blue. Oh, Sunday, I cannot be blue. Like it seems plain as plain while. Oh, shall I be blue?
This is a book about bodies, feelings, and you. And this book is from the author and illustrator team that wrote What Makes a Baby? I will also be reading and posting this one very soon. A book for every kind of family and every kind of kid. But for now, let's get into this one. I will read up through the intro and the table of contents today. And please hop down into the link in the description below and buy yourself and your friends' kids a copy of this book. All right, let's get into it. This book belongs to, I don't know. Sex is a funny word. To the grown-up reader, this is a very different kind of children's book about sex. Most books about sex are full of answers. Answers can be helpful and reassuring, but they also tell us what to think and even how to think instead of encouraging us to think for ourselves and to honor our own knowledge and experience. Most books about sex focus on only reproduction and intercourse. You'll find neither of these topics in our book. What Makes a Baby, the first book in this series, geared to younger readers, is about reproduction. The next book, for older kids, will include information on intercourse. Sex education is about more than science and the so-called facts of life. I believe the most important part of sex education is exploring and sharing our feelings, values, and beliefs, and helping kids connect what they learn to their communities, histories, families, and cultures. That's what this book allows you to do. We've provided the framework and basic information about bodies, gender, and touch, and we've left blanks that only you and the kids in your life can fill in. The truth is that sex is a funny word, but it's also a complicated one, so meaningful conversations about sex might not always feel easy or fun, but having them prepares all of us for life as it is. Sex is a Funny Word is here to help. How to use this book. This book is meant to be read over weeks, months, and years rather than just a few sittings. You'll find that it sparks different conversations at different ages and stages. Before you read the book with children or give it to children to read on their own, read it through yourself. Pay attention to the question pages at the ends of each chapter. Think through your own answers or responses to those questions, and think about how you would address those questions with a child. This is especially important for the last chapter in Section 4 called Secret Touch, which deals with sexual abuse. This is a difficult topic for all of us. We don't want to imagine our children being sexually victimized, and many of us have our own experiences of sexual harassment and violence, which we can't help but bring to mind when thinking about the safety of children in our lives. Read over this chapter carefully before reading with a young person and give yourself time and permission to respond on your own before you try to read it with a child. Throughout the book, when you reach a question page, share your answers. If the children you are reading with aren't ready to share their own, don't pressure them. If you are patient and make room for kids to choose when to talk, eventually they will. The unique features of this book are it's fun and interactive. Each chapter begins with a comic and ends with a question page or activity page. If kids want to skip ahead, let them. There's always time to go back later. This book is jargon-free. We avoid using terminology and identity labels whenever possible to make room for the different ways we describe ourselves. But we've also offered a glossary in the back of the book with words that can be hard to explain. And there's no pressure here. The only sexual activity in this book is masturbation in Touching Yourself, Section 4. We'll address more behaviors in the last book in this series. Sex is a Funny Word was written and illustrated based on hundreds of conversations with children, parents, families, and professionals. We've included more resources and tips on talking with kids about sex in a free reader's guide, which is available at www.corysilverberg.com. Our work is always made richer through feedback, and we welcome your comments and questions. Thanks for reading. From Cory Silverberg in New York City. Sex is a Funny Word. Ready? All set? Welcome to this book. This is Zai. Zai likes climbing on things, music, and shy people. Have you ever had chocolate milk on your cereal? I do on my birthday. Zai is 8.5 years old, and their favorite food is spaghetti. Favorite word this week is nerd. They live here, and they dislike mean people and bedtime. This is Cooper. I talk to animals. Sometimes they talk back. Cooper is 8 years old. They like candy, math, swimming, dislike their brothers, Rain, and homework. And their nicknames are Coops. Favorite food is pancakes, and Cooper lives here. Mimi is 9 years old. Her favorite word of all time is fabulous. When I grow up, I'm going to be a reporter, or maybe president, or an exobiologist, or maybe president. Mimi dislikes bossy people, spiders, and being wrong. And Mimi likes comics, gaming, and skateboarding. Mimi's favorite food is falafel, and Mimi lives here. This is Omar. Omar is 10 years old and says, whales are the largest mammals on Earth. It's a fact. Omar likes reading, movies, and long sentences. Omar dislikes big groups and yelling. Their favorite food is burgers. And if they could describe themselves in one word or less, Omar would describe themselves with fastidious. Omar lives here. Sex is a funny word. Sex. By Cory Silverberg and Fiona Smyth. Are you kidding me? Sex is a funny word. Everyone has their own idea of what sex is. Some people think they don't know anything about sex. Some people think they know it all. All of us have questions about sex, and all of us have answers too. Learning about sex. Okay, everyone, settle down. I've got a riddle for you. What's a word with only 3 letters but many meanings? Bad, bee, box, red, cat, ear, eat, ink, pie, dog, toe, sit. Those are 3-letter words, but they aren't the answer I was looking for. Give up? The answer is sex. That's right. Can anyone tell me what makes sex a funny word? Penis! Boobs! Kissing. Yes, Omar. I'm not sure this is funny, but whenever I ask my parents about sex, something quite strange happens. It's like they're frozen and can't move, and they get very quiet. When I ask other kids about sex, it's the opposite. They start laughing and can't stop, so that's kind of funny. Oh. My dad says sex isn't funny at all. It's something special and beautiful for when I grow up. I don't see what this has to do with me. This is boring. I already know about all of this. Learning about sex is kind of like visiting a carnival or fair. You can never do it all in one day. It can be fun and strange and sometimes a little scary. Sound confusing? Come on, let's go exploring. Wow! Welcome! Pew. Here is the table of contents. First, we have the introduction. That's what we just read. And then we go, welcome. On page 18, we'll find what is sex. And then we will be learning about bodies on page 32. On page 17, boys, girls, all of us. And page 90, touch. From touch, we go to talking about sex on page 116. And crushes, love, and relationships on page 132. What's next? Page 156. Next up, we have what is sex? And we will read this chapter in the next video. So thanks for reading the introduction of Sex is a Funny Word with me. And remember to hit that link and buy yourself a copy of this book. Check out the next video. What is sex?
Oh, and I cannot be moved. Oh, I cannot be moved. Like a tree, it's plain as a while. Oh, shall not be moved. Oh, brother, I shall not be moved. Oh, brother, I shall not be moved. Like a tree, it's plain as a while.